Danny Baggish stands provisionally suspended by the Darts Regulation Authority over an allegation of match fixing in the MODUS Super Series. The American, known on stage as the Gambler, claimed his PDC Tour Card in 2021 as the only player from the United States to do so that year, and his name now appears on the World Darts Federation's list of disciplined players, dated the 3rd of May 2026. No formal charge has been brought against him, and no disciplinary committee has heard a word of evidence. He stands accused, not convicted. The investigation is only days old, and the timeline of how Baggish ended up on that list looks unlike any case before it. 42 years old, Guamanian-born, and based in the United States, Baggish is best known inside professional darts for one window of his career. At the 2020 PDC World Darts Championship at Alexandra Palace, he walked onto the stage priced at 500 to 1, dispatched Damon Heta in round 1, and then produced a 3-1 upset of two-time world champion Adrian Lewis in front of a London crowd that never saw it coming. Round 3 brought Glenn Durrant, the reigning Premier League champion, and that is where the run ended. The performance put his name on the map regardless. Q-School delivered him a PDC Tour Card in 2021, making him the only American to win one that year, and he held it through both the 2021 and 2022 seasons. September of 2022 saw him top the Championship Darts Corporation Tour Points list as the highest ranked American on the continent, which earned him a second trip to Alexandra Palace. Somewhere in between, he wrote another piece of history as the first American ever to qualify for a PDC European Tour event. Target Darts have built a signature dart range around him since 2019, marketed under the name The Gambler. 2 weeks ago, Baggish returned to a European dart stage for the first time in years, after spending recent seasons closer to home in the United States, working through personal circumstances that those around him have only discussed in broad terms. The comeback came in 2 stages. From the 19th to the 25th of April 2026, he partnered Danny Lorby for the United States at MODUS International Pairs Week, before the opening week of Series 14 of the MODUS Super Series rolled in immediately afterwards. On Monday, the 27th of April, Baggish claimed 4 of his 5 group matches, and by Wednesday, the 29th, he had topped Group A overall with 22 points from a possible 30, which qualified him for the Saturday weekly finals night on the 2nd of May. Darts News ran a piece during that week headlined, quote, "I love you son, Danny Baggish fights back tears after emotional return to darts ends in victory," end quote. Saturday, the 2nd of May arrived, and Baggish was not at the venue. MODUS offered no public explanation beyond personal circumstances. Michael Huntley moved into the bracket on the walkover, edged Conan Whitehead in the semi-final, and overcame Mark Dudbridge in the final to claim the £5,000 weekly prize. The story sat there for 9 days. What broke on the 12th of May 2026 was a Darts News report that the World Darts Federation's list of disciplined players had been updated. Baggish appeared on it, suspended provisionally by the Darts Regulation Authority since the 3rd of May 2026, the day after his missed finals night. The entry against his name read, "Match fixing in the MODUS Super Series." On the DRA procedure, Baggish retains 2 rights as the process unfolds: the right to appeal the provisional suspension itself, and the right to present a defense at a disciplinary committee hearing if a formal charge is brought. A provisional suspension is a pause in the regulatory process, not a verdict on guilt. The case rattled the darts community. The reason has more to do with the company Baggish's name now keeps than with the allegation itself. Originally launched during the coronavirus pandemic as an online streamed competition, the MODUS Super Series has, in the season since, become the single most common venue where darts integrity investigations in the sport begin. Vessel Nyman became the first major name to come out of the format. The DRA Disciplinary Committee handed him a 5-year ban in 2020, with 2.5 of those years conditionally suspended in recognition of his cooperation with investigators. By 2023, he had returned to the PDC circuit, and as of this year he sits inside the world's top 16. Kyle McKinstry faced sanction alongside Nijman in the same investigation. His punishment from the DRA totaled 8 years, 6.5 for the fixing itself, and an additional 18 months tacked on for refusing to hand over his phone records during the investigation. DRA chairman Nigel Moore said at the time, quote, "This shows that any player found guilty of match fixing at any level of the sport will be caught and will face a lengthy ban," end quote. In November 2023, a single International Betting Integrity Association alert on a MODUS Super Series match between Jack Main and Lisa Ashton triggered a cluster of new suspensions. No suspicion attached to Ashton herself. Prakash Jiwa and former World Championship semi-finalist Andy Jenkins both received suspensions in the same week. Jiwa's full ruling came down in January 2025. The DRA found him guilty on 4 counts of fixing MODUS Super Series matches in 2023 against Owen Bates, Adam Hunt, Peter Hudson, and Willie Borland. His ban runs 8 years to November 2031, with costs of just over £17,700 attached. Jenkins's full ruling came down in March 2025. The verdict ran to 24 charges of match fixing across 12 MODUS Super Series matches, plus a separate betting on darts breach. What stands out is how small the betting figures actually were. Between March 2022 and May 2023, Jenkins placed 88 bets, staking just over £2,400 for a total profit of £266. His ban ran 11 years to November 2034. UK Gambling Commission Director of Enforcement John Pearce said the case sent a strong and unequivocal message to all sports people that if you fix matches, you are likely to be caught and face serious consequences. December 2024 brought sanctions against Leighton Bennett, an 18-year-old former youth world champion, who received an 8-year ban for fixing 4 MODUS Super Series matches in September 2023. Billy Warriner walked out of the same hearing with a 10-year ban. That is the list Baggish now sits on the end of. 6 bans have been handed down across 5 years, and every one of them traces back to a single online tournament. The reason these cases concentrate inside MODUS specifically is no mystery to anyone inside darts. The format is online. The prize money per match runs lower than a PDC Pro Tour event or a televised tournament, and the betting markets sit deeper than the prize pots, sometimes by orders of magnitude. A fixer can move a match that pays a few £100s in prize money and pick up a return that dwarfs it on the betting exchanges. Real-time monitoring by the International Betting Integrity Association catches the suspicious patterns and refers them to the DRA. Every single one of the cases above started with an IBIA alert. The one recent exception sits entirely outside MODUS. Filipino darter Gilbert Alang received a 7-year ban after the DRA found he had deliberately lost his 2017 PDC World Championship preliminary round match against Kevin Sim. Evidence accepted by the committee showed that 158 bets, totaling roughly £70,797, had been placed on that match, delivering a profit of more than £72,000. Ulang remains the only player in the modern public record banned for fixing a televised PDC Main Tour match rather than a Super Series one. What sets the Baggish case apart from the 6 names that came before is the timing. His return at International Pairs Week 2 weeks ago drew coverage across darts media as a comeback. The darts news piece referenced earlier, quote, "I love you son, Danny Baggish fights back tears," end quote, was tied to a publicly documented family loss. Baggish's young son received a leukemia diagnosis in January 2025 and died in November 2025. The same child had been seriously injured in a car accident back in May 2022, which led Baggish to withdraw from European events at the time. The personal circumstances cited by MODUS on the 2nd of May 2026 were widely assumed by viewers to be a continuation of that story. Darts News on the 12th of May reframed that absence. Whether the two threads are connected, whether they are not, and whether any of it forms part of Baggish's defense is a matter for the DRA process, not for speculation outside of it. From here, the DRA follows the same pathway it has followed in every recent case. Investigators gather betting data from IBIA, communications records where they are available, and testimony from any cooperating witnesses. A formal charge sheet either follows or it does not. If charges come down, a disciplinary committee hearing gets scheduled, and the committee then determines both guilt and sanction. These hearings move at a glacial pace. Jenkins was provisionally suspended in November 2023, but his full ruling did not arrive until March 2025, while Jiwa's took 14 months and the Bennett and Warriner cases took just over a year apiece. Baggish's process started on the 3rd of May 2026. For now, Danny Baggish stands provisionally suspended, not convicted. No evidence has been heard. No defense has been mounted. The public record contains 3 things: a date, the 3rd of May 2026, a regulator, the Darts Regulation Authority, and a list, the World Darts Federation's roster of disciplined players. On that list, the only American to win a PDC Tour Card in 2021 now appears as the 7th name from one online tournament in 5 years. The question the next hearing will answer is whether he becomes the 7th ban or the first acquittal in that group.